Hello everyone, today we're going to take a look at a ported throttle body from GPE or Gigs Performance Engineering. This is for the 2.7 liter Ecoboost in the Ford Bronco and in the F-150. As many of you know, I've installed pretty much every performance bolt-on that you can on the 2.7 liter Ecoboost found in my Ford Bronco. That's with the exception of larger turbos. I'm not ready to go down that path quite yet. But in the meantime, I do want to squeeze every drop of performance that I can out of this little Ecoboost. First off, a fellow Bronco owner by the name of Justin, who owns a 2.3 liter Bronco, was the one who told me about the GPE ported throttle body for Ecoboost motors. So I reached out to Joe, and he was super responsive and explained everything in detail. So I went ahead and ordered a ported throttle body to see what it would do. Now, the stock Ford throttle body has an opening of around 65 to 66 millimeters. The GPE ported throttle body has been enlarged to 69 millimeters in a tapered style. A couple other things worth mentioning is the front shaft has been removed for an increase of 4 millimeters for the airflow path. Then the outlet, which is behind the blade, is mildly ported to avoid idle surging and or the need for a custom tune. Now, this is a stock OEM throttle body, so it does retain all the electronics from Ford for reliability and smooth plug-and-play installation. This is also compatible with any aftermarket cold air intake or spacer that would fit the stock or OEM throttle body. Now, installation of the throttle body was pretty straightforward. First, you'll want to disconnect the negative battery cable. I do have aftermarket charge pipes, but if you have the stock plastic ones, the installation won't differ a whole lot here. But you'll want to remove the tube as shown. Then start loosening the clamps that hold the coupler to the charge pipe and throttle body. Then you can start removing the 8 millimeter bolts that hold the throttle body to the intake manifold. And once you get those loose, you can pull those off and then remove the throttle body and disconnect the plug as shown. Here's a clip of the stock throttle body. As you can see, there's some carbon buildup behind the blade. And then here's a comparison of the stock throttle body and the GPE ported one. When you order the ported throttle body from GPE, it comes with a new throttle body gasket. I didn't install the new one since I plan to do that when I install my GPE ported intake manifold, which we'll be talking about in another video. But once you install the new throttle body gasket, go ahead and bolt the throttle body back to the manifold. I don't know the torque spec for these bolts, but since they're going into a plastic intake manifold, it's not going to be a lot. So just make sure they're snug and you should be good. That said, if I do get the torque specs, I'll go ahead and post them in the video's description. Now that the throttle body is installed, it's time to reinstall the coupler. And after that's installed, you can tighten up the clamps and then reconnect the throttle body control plug and the tube to the charge pipe. After everything is connected, then you'll need to follow GPE's instructions to ensure you don't have any issues. I'll go ahead and leave them here on screen, and you can feel free to pause the video as needed. Now, I've had this throttle body installed on my Bronco for well over 1,000 miles, so the Bronco has definitely adjusted to it. I do have a custom tune, which can also be adjusted for it, but I'm going to wait to do the adjustment until I have the ported intake manifold installed. But at this point, you're probably wondering, is there really any difference after installing this GPE ported throttle body? Well, to that I say yes, there is one. If I could sum up the experience in one word, I would say smooth. The power delivery feels smoother than ever before. I feel like the Bronco gets up to speed a bit better when just driving normally as well. The throttle response has improved. I couldn't tell you if there's really any seat in the pants HP difference. It's been a really hot summer, so my IATs are kind of through the roof right now, and I can't make a comparison to older draggy runs because of that. GPE says the gains are going to be single to low double digit HP wise, but we'll take a look more into that down the road. Now my plan is to install the ported intake manifold next and then have my tune revised to take advantage of both the throttle body and new manifold. And at that point I will go back to the dyno and I will do some additional draggy runs when the weather cools down. So definitely stay tuned for those results in the future. So bringing this video to a close, would I recommend the GPE ported throttle body for the 2.7 liter Ford Bronco or Ecoboost as a whole? And to that I say it depends. If you're only doing a few bolt-ons just to gain some power along with a tune, you're going to see probably more performance gains with something like a cold air intake or an exhaust, downpipe, etc. But if you already have all those bolt-ons and you're looking to squeeze out every little drop of performance you can from your Ecoboost, then I'd say it's a no-brainer. So if you want to stay tuned, I'll have a follow-up video on the ported intake install and the results of that. And if you're interested in a GPE ported throttle body, I'll go ahead and leave a link to their eBay store in the video's description. Thanks for checking out the video.